All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is April 2nd, 2018. This is a Monday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is Back to Basics, Teaching on Indicators and Object Trader Strategy. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Is the sound, Peter is saying the sound's going in and out? Hopefully not. Is everybody else hearing the sound okay? Testing audio, 1, 2, 3. Seems to be good. Okay. It could be, possibly GoToWebinar or something like that. It could have given a little bit of trouble, but it looks like we're good. Real quick, what I want to show, we've got people in this week that are kind of kicking the tires and seeing us call trades in the live trading room and things like that. So be sure, if you're not a member, you can't get into this member login area here. This is where a lot of the training happens at Viper Trading Systems. Okay, but you can get into this webinar link right here. Okay, just simply click on it. It'll go to the webinar link, and you'll see some recordings that are pretty recent, by the way. This recording was as early as 3/22, which was about a week and a half ago. Okay, and another one on 3/19, another one on 3/15. I haven't put the April, well, today's the first April one, by the way. Okay, so we've got two more I think I can put up, and I'll get those up for you. Okay, but you're welcome to watch these. There's no charge on these at all. And our members have an area right here that they can get into, and they've got, just bukus of training, just lots and lots of training videos and ebook and different things like that. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and go to some charts. And what I want to show you first is what I like to personally do is to look at my charts. Now, if you get to where you can see your charts like this right here without actually having to pull up this particular template, then you're doing really good. Okay, but you need to be able to see these swings, cut out all the noise, so to speak, and just, look at these swings and decide how you would actually take a trade. Okay, because this is a real chart with real prices on it. And we're simply taking the bars and changing them to, basically a transparent. So they're there, but you can't see them. Okay. But I personally like to do something like this. Now, let's just get to basics just for a couple of minutes. First of all, I like to draw on my charts. If I was up, this is about 4 o'clock in the morning, so I wasn't up at this time, but let's just see what we can get. All right. I like to draw little support and resistance areas, okay, on my chart right off the bat. All right. Now, if we get a higher low, we could go ahead and head up and hit, maybe test this swing here, see the swing to the left. And if it breaks higher, we could test even 36 or even 42. Okay, but you got to kind of draw on your charts where the swings are. All right, and I'll draw another one. And I'll draw another one. Okay, so basically, what you want to do on your chart, is draw these areas that the lightning draws, because lightning 3, to give an example, is this power meter right here. Lightning 3, lightning 4 is this one, lightning 2 is this one here, and lightning 1 is power meter 1. Okay, so in other words, right now you're looking at lightning 1. Okay, now what it's looking at right now, it must have actually got the prices above here a little bit because that's turned green. Okay, because lightning is a little bit more lagging, but not really what I'd call lagging as far as when you've got it on your charts, when you can see the prices and everything. For instance, Viper traders, if you got up and saw this right here, what would you do? Anybody? What I would personally do would be to look at this. Okay, you've got support right under here right now, right? And you've got your secondary support right under here. Okay, see that? Thrust, retrace, ABC, support. Okay, so if this gets anywhere down near this area right here and even bounces, wouldn't we be looking for a long? Okay, and if this breaks down, if it happens to, that is, you could actually look for a nice long, possibly up to this 29, possibly even 37, possibly even 42. But if it does break below here, we could very well get us a little trade like this too. I like to diagnose my charts either way it decides to go, and it's extremely important to do so. Okay, let's see, how are the lightning lines placed on the chart? Jay, on your question, the lightning lines are actually your indicator. Okay, the indicator that I'm using right now, this is actually lightning 1, okay, and your lightning 2 is your shift key. Remember how to do that, everyone? I'll just get rid of this and I'll show you. Let me just get rid of this and I'll show you. All right, let's draw lightning 3 first off. We'll go ahead and do our control key, hold it down, left click, and there's your lightning 3. Okay, see the green line? All right, so we're in an uptrend, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious, a high here, a low here, and a higher high. Okay, now on the what we call lightning 1, you're pretty much just sideways, right? Okay, now lightning 1, the way you draw it, let me get rid of it first. Okay, lightning 1, the way you draw it is simply pick a point you want on the chart. Now I can't see any prices, so I can't really click except on these lines. But if I had the prices on here, I can actually click wherever I want to. But let's just draw it here. Hold your Alt key down, okay, and then just simply click, and that draws lightning 1. Okay, Alt key, just press your left mouse button, and it'll draw lightning 1. Okay, if I wanted to draw lightning 2, I just simply hold my shift key down instead, click on a swing, and there's my lightning 2 like that. Okay, now this is basically the difference in lightning 1 and 2 is simply that you're using a 4 range bar on lightning 1 with only 1 swing strength. That's just simply the bars going up and down. Lightning 2, though, is 2 bars at least. So in other words, you have to have 2 bars down, 2 bars up for it ever to draw. Okay, so that's the lightning script. Now you have lightning 4, which is your backspace key. I don't really use that much because, for one thing, lightning 4 would be more like this right here. Let me just draw lightning 4, backspace. See, we don't even have a lightning 4 yet. This is a 12 range chart, so this hasn't even done enough of a pullback to even draw. It'll more than likely draw up here before it's over, the way it's looking like anyway to me. Okay, so like I said, lightning 4 not near as important because it's a 12 range chart. You're going to be late on your trades. Let's see, would you say lightning 3 is the one mostly used? Lewis, on your question, I like lightning 3 to give me the idea of where the trends will change. To give an example, like let's just look at this chart right here, for instance. Okay, notice that you have over here, basically you had a low, you had a high, you had like an ABC, came down and kissed support, bounced again, took out the high, right? And so this is actually your lightning 3 in an uptrend so far, but if it does break this, we could easily head down too. Okay, so that may be a trade for later on because this is looking pretty consolidating to me. Okay, big difference in this chart here and this chart here, don't you think? Okay, does that mean we can't take, like a quick long trade, for instance, if we get it? I'll even try it with no prices on here. You want to try it? Let's see if we can get one. I'll do Object Trader. We'll click OK. Now this is in replay mode so that we can see some of this, okay? And what I'm going to do is simply, let's look to the left to trade the right. All right, I see a swing across here that's, see that little dot right there? That's 10. Okay, and it's been to 3. That's been down, not quite down here. Okay, so let's just see if we can take a quick trade. I'll just simply go for, sorry about that, wanted that at 10. I'll just box this in. We'll just see what it does. I will do a region. I'll bring it right here. We're not going to go long unless it actually breaks below 0.3. Okay, so I'm going to turn off short. And I'll just do 2. And let's just try to get 10 ticks, just to see. Okay, we'll just see if we can get 10 ticks on this particular one. And I'll do a touch plus 2. Okay, now we don't know where the price is right now because these lines draw a little bit late, so we may not get this because the price may already be up here. We don't know that without looking at the actual chart because the lightning actually has to have the bars closed. But let's just see if we can get something just for the fun of it. 10 ticks would be $200, right? Let's see if we can get $200. Just for the fun of it, let's see if we can get 200. Now, I got that going like 20 times, so we'll see if it actually, will a bar actually, a bar doesn't actually touch that, but you can clearly see that it took it out. Okay. I'm not sure if this actually sees bars that are transparent or not. We'll find out here in just a second. Let's see here. Yeah, it saw it. See there? We're in. All right, let's see if we can get 10 ticks. Just for the fun of it. Let's see if we can get 10 ticks. Notice that's counting up. There's your little bar, and you just flattened out. See there? A $200 bill with just simply using the little swing. Okay? Now, that wouldn't be a bad little trade, and you could be done for the day as far as that goes, because if you do that 5 times a week, that's a $1,000 bill a week, and that's not too shabby if you've got other income coming in, things like that. But let's just see if we can get some other things too. Let's see if we can do the same thing with gold over here. I'm going to do my strategy, replay, and let's just see if we can get something. Now keep in mind that this chart was moving, so this one was too. Okay, so what I'm going to do on this chart right here is I'm going to just simply see if I can get 10 ticks just for the fun of it. I'm just going to go ahead and buy them because they're right there at that line. We'll take a chance. We will take a chance. Let's see if it gets it. Now, if we lose on one and gain on the other, we'll be at 0, right? I'm going to put my stop just under the swing, by the way. That's a little bit riskier because that's 19 ticks, but I don't know where my prices are, but I do know where my swing is. See there? I do know where my swing is. So let's see if we can get 10 more. Notice that filled it way up here, so that price is already way up there. Are we still okay? Let's find out. We just got 400. See there? See how easy that can actually be to do? And this is as basic as you can get right here. Okay? Definitely not a bad way to look at a chart. But let's look at the actual one. And I'm gonna go over exactly how to use our indicators and everything. Bear with me a second. I'll go to that chart. I'm going to take these two charts down. And I'm going to show you this one here. Now, this is exactly the same chart, by the way, that you just saw. Let me go ahead and get oil up here too. Bear with me a second. We'll get oil. All right. Notice that what I simply did was just basically boxed here, like so, didn't I? And it came down, I do believe, to right across here where that swing is, or really close to it. See that swing over here to the left? So that turned out to be a monster little trade, didn't it? Okay, so with Back to Basics tonight, Okay, what I want to mainly show you is not so much how to trade this. As you've already seen, it traded pretty nicely with just simply doing the little swings, didn't it? Okay, but let's go over what these tools mean real quick. Okay, when you look at a chart with Viper Trading Systems, you've basically got a red background. If you got any kind of movement, it can even be sideways and still get red background. Okay, green background's pretty much when it's in an uptrend. You know, mid-band changes, but you notice that basically, if you look at this overall right now, the trend is pretty much up, isn't it? But where would the trend change if it did decide to change? Okay, we already got a 10-tick trade on here, which didn't turn out to be too shabby, right? Wasn't too shabby at all. But always draw on your charts, because the whole idea is you want to be able to get in a trade at the most opportune time. Okay, and we teach people that what you're looking for is, you're not really looking for these huge breakouts. For instance, you know, let's say that this thing just went straight up and you buy it right up in here, or maybe you sell it way down here. You don't want to do that. You want to actually wait for the thing to thrust and retrace. Okay, now let me show you a little bit about this real quick. First off, when we have a green background and this either lime color or blue, now blue in this middle means that this is a session high for the day. Okay, that's all that means. See, you basically started with your prices, looks like right here possibly, and so it got a session high, right? Okay, so that's what that's telling you, is that's had a session high. Now, if this actually changes to your magenta color, that's basically telling you the trend's trying to head down, but it doesn't necessarily mean that every single trade's going to work, because these are absolutely fast indicators, and we know how to read charts. And basically, if you look at that one I just drew, I'll show you real quick. Bear with me a second. I'll get that up, and we'll go ahead and look at this. Okay. Now, remember, we diagnosed this particular chart in real time, and I've got lines all over it right now, right? Okay. So let me ask you a question, everyone. If you were trading this, notice that I just got in this simply when it broke a little box, which was fine. It paid off. It even hit where my swing was. Okay. But you've also got to look at your charts and say, okay, what happens if this goes up or if it goes down? Where do I want to get in this thing? Okay. And that's really important for you, because I'm going to show you how to read these charts. And I think you can actually throw a lot of your indicators away and things like that, because, you know, with 4-range charts and our lightning swings and everything, these charts do wonderful jobs. Okay. So let's go ahead and take all the lines off the chart. I'll even take lightning off the chart. And we'll take lightning 1 off the chart. And why did we put stealth on this particular chart? I don't really want stealth on this chart, so bear with me 1 second and I'll get rid of stealth. Not really wanting to teach stealth tonight. Oh, that's on Object Trader. Let me remove the other one. That's true. Stealth is on Object Trader, so yeah, we can't really remove it because we've got Object Trader on the chart. Okay, we'll leave it on there. Let's go ahead and get rid of the predictor. And everybody tell me, let's draw it again now on our Lightning 3. If you didn't want to get in any of this stuff while it's kind of going sideways, where could you look for a trade on this chart? Because with basically back to basics, I can tell you whichever way it decides to go, how you can get in the trade. Okay, because what you're going to look for, you're going to either look for a thrust, a pullback, you know, break, that'll be a little breakout type trade, or you're going to wait for it to actually break, like here, or even here. Now, granted, that's 40 ticks, right? So that's a nice range to trade. But if this was actually to head up, what this would actually do would simply be to break this resistance area, and it would pull back and kiss it, or close to it, and then it would head back up. Okay, that would be a trade if we stay on the long side. If this breaks to the downside, it's going to break here, it's going to pull back and kiss, and it's going to roll over. Okay, it's going to do one of those two. And while it's in this choppy stuff, what you're going to do is just what I did a few minutes ago. We just went for like 10 ticks. 10 ticks on oil is, 2 contracts is $200 bill. Okay, so with just that trade there, if you did that 5 times a week, that's 2,000 a week, that's 100,000 a year. So a person could actually do pretty good at that, right? Okay, so let's look at the actual chart and let's see if it does one of these things, and then we're gonna take a trade if it does. All right, back to basics tonight. All right, let's look. Let's get our oil chart, and we will watch it. And I'm going to draw those same things that I did earlier. Matter of fact, now that I can see my prices, I'm going to draw it different. I'll show you what I'd do. I'd be looking for a break above 29 and a pullback and a kiss. Let's go ahead and set that as our default. And I'd be looking for a break below here. So in other words, what I'd be looking for would be this trade here, break up, pull back and kiss, and then head up. See, because that's actually a thrust and a retrace. So this is like lightning. Low, high, higher, low. If you got a higher high, they would come back and kiss this and they'd take off. Okay? If we break this, now I don't like this over here because, see, if I was to take this as a breakout right here, I've got support right down here. I don't like that as much. Okay, now we do like to box in, but I'm going to teach you more how to see a good conservative trade instead. So we're going to look for 2 different types of trades on this chart. Now, when I draw these arrows, it doesn't necessarily have to come this low or this high even, okay? But we're going to watch this and see if we can actually get a trade. We'll put Object Trader back on the chart. And hopefully my line stayed. They did. All right, so let's see if we can get a trade. All right, now keep in mind that, well, like I said, I'd want to break this one here, so I'm going to put these arrows here instead, and here instead. Okay, because when you break like a little area like this, that's not a good enough risk reward trade. If it was to bounce off of here, what if it got a higher low and then shot up? You really want to break an actual swing. See, this is an identified swing right here. This is a high, this is a low, and that's a higher high. So that is an identified lightning 3 swing. Okay, so let's play this out and see what we can get. Now keep in mind, I'm gonna do this more conservative so I can show some people how to take a nice conservative trade, because I would probably be looking to box this little dude in and see if I can get a trade. Let's see what it does. So far you have a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high again, barely. See that? All right, let's see what it does. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Got to the top, didn't it? Now that should roll over, by the way. See how that hit resistance right there? Let's let it do its thing. Let's let it play. All right, there you go. You just broke down below support, didn't you? Okay, notice how our background actually changed to red on here. Now, does that mean that we take that trade right there, Viper traders? What do you think? Well, if you're going to, what I'd do is wait for a bar to close. So do something like this, bar close, short, only do 1 contract, because you don't know if this is just a little fake below support. So let's see if a bar will close down for us, and we'll get us, okay, we got us a trade. All right, now since it's got to be a runner, see there? Then we're going to have to actually make it a runner. Now, what if this breaks this little swing right across here, or it goes up and kisses our line right here, which it's already done once. So I'll show you a way that you can box this in. I'll do a region, we're looking for short. If it comes all the way back up into here, see where that resistance is right there, or if it breaks out. So I'm looking for a short inside, touch +2, and we'll do 2. So if it comes back and kisses the top of this box within 2 ticks, we'll get a little short, or if it breaks out, we'll get a little short. Okay. Now we are breakout traders when it comes to these little bitty breaks like this. Okay, that's a good type trade that breaks below support, because usually what they do is they'll come back and kiss, and then they'll more than likely roll over. Let's see if it does. And I'm going to also show you how to get in the trade if you miss the entire thrust. A good conservative trade. Let's see, on week 1. No, actually, Robert, on your question, you're not limited to only 3. You can change that. When you're on the trial, that's just basically, what we set it at. Object Trader has some features built into it now that are actually a little more automated. So the reason we set that at max is so that people don't get on the wrong side of the thing. Okay, it looks like we're going to get it very possibly to the downside. See how that's a high? Needs to take out the low, and that'll be a new swing right there. Back to basics on how to trade this. Notice we were looking for this trade, or we were looking for this trade. Now, does that mean we couldn't have taken this trade? I'm not going to teach this one tonight as much, but see that right through there? Could you have taken that trade? Yes. Because it broke that trend line, didn't it? And you could just box that in, and you could have gotten already a decent trade. We're taking it more conservative tonight because I want to show you how to make sure you don't get whipped around. Okay. Let's see. Touch +2 if we get it, or we'll get up here. Either way. It did kiss right here. See it? 65.03. Kissed it within a tick. I'll go ahead and go like that, just in case it goes up there to that top again, or if it breaks out. Either way, we'll add our 2. See what you're going to do, oil, what you're going to do. It's one thing that's, there we go, we got our little kiss trade. Kissed resistance. Now I'd probably be protecting this trade a little bit, but I don't really see an area where I really want to yet, because right here they could come up as high as this right here, but it looks like we're good to go. See how that perfectly hit that touch +2 short inside, and now we got us a little trade. Okay, always look to the left to trade the right. Look where your swings are. I'd get 2 out of the way, and I'd try to get this little swing right here, this a priori swing right there. Go ahead and take 1 off if it gets there, like so. And see, we've got about 530. Now keep in mind with 3 contracts, we don't really want this going up very high, so I'd probably put my stop a close above this swing, because they shouldn't test that swing. And if they do, they shouldn't test it with the close of a bar, so I'd turn on exit on close. Now notice how if you actually trade like this, that you can see on a chart just right where the trade should be drawn on your chart. We've got lots of people that the light came on and they go, oh my gosh, I see this. This is a really good way to trade. You don't have to learn near as much with all the, the indicators and different things that you might, have out there. We don't play around with CCI. We don't play around with ADXR and all that kind of stuff. Any of that's really, your charts are price action. When you're trading, you're looking at price. Okay. Now that this has actually gone down, I'm going to bring my stop a little tighter, like just right above that swing, because that's an identified swing, just in case they decide to whip this thing up there. Okay. Oh, and I want to show you another little tool that we've got too, because I called it this morning in the room. And let's see what time it is. Let's go ahead and set our little time trader. See, it's 7:51 in the morning on this replay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set another little tool that we've got to show you a little basic tool. And I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I'm going to get rid of this region. And I'm going to let this go ahead and go to 7:59. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my strategy. I'm going to disable it for a moment. I'm going to go up to my little zones here. And I'm going to tell this zone that I want to take an actual trade at 7:59. Okay, that's when basically when oil opens is 1 minute before. So we like that little trade. And I got to hurry because it's about 3 minutes away. Turn this on true. And we'll turn on time trader. We're looking for shorts, right? Now we could turn it on both ways. Okay, but one thing you want to do is be careful if you turn it on either direction. You want to just pretty much scalp against trends. Okay, time trader, what time trader will do is at 7:59, it looks at the bar, it waits for the close of the bar, and it'll draw a box. A yellow midband, Lewis, actually means that it's sideways. You've got two sideways colors on the midband. I'm going to go over that too in detail here in just a couple of minutes. Let me show this time trader here real quick because this trade was called in the room, and I want to show people how they can actually take the trade. And we're going to do it with we'll do it with 3. 7:56, almost 7:57. 2 more minutes. I'll go ahead and speed this up just a little bit, so we can get to 7:58, and then I'll stop it again. That's getting close. That's getting close. That's close enough. See that little box that it's drawing right there? Now that's the time box that draws with the indicator, but the time trader will draw a box when this bar closes. If it closes up or down, it doesn't care. It's just going to draw it if it sees a closed bar. So we're on time trade, short out. I'll just go ahead and do a touch +2. Let's see if we can get a closed bar. And you'll see a green box appear, and it even allows you to move the box if you want to before you ever take the trade. There's your box, see it? And there's your trade. Stop would go just above the swing, like so. Exit on close. And you got a monster trade, okay? Everybody see that? That trade was called in the room this morning, by the way. But what if you missed it? Back to basics. Tonight, I'm going to show you how to get in this trade because there's a trade always after a thrust. I mean, this thing can go down a lot. It doesn't really matter to me because I'm also thinking about where my next trade is, right? So let's see if we can figure out where the next trade is. Got you a little hint. It's called a predictor. And let's look to the left to trade the right. Swing right across there that they haven't checked yet. Let's see if predictor will get us in a trade. I'm going to turn on predictor. And we'll look for a short. We'll do a touch +2. And we'll just add 2 if it happens to get there. Look at this beautiful trade. Everybody remember that trade in the room this morning? But never fear, there's always another trade. Okay? Now, if you learn to see how lightning actually works on a chart, see your big thrust down, retrace thrust, retrace thrust. Okay, this is a secondary swing. This is a primary swing right here. Okay? So what we're looking for, we don't really want to take out our primary swing, and we definitely don't want to take out our secondary swing. Okay? Now see your predictor right there? Let's see if we can get a trade. So it's going to look at touch +2. If it gets within 2 ticks of this and rolls over, it'll give us the trade. And it did by a tick. So let's see if it works out. Stop would be just above the secondary swing. That's your secondary swing. That's your primary. Okay. And that even turned out to be a decent trade. Okay. Now, that's an aggressive way to take it, but you've also got a conservative way to take it. You can actually box this in. Matter of fact, see how it rolled over? I called that trade in the room this morning live, in the room, and we simply boxed it in, and we took the trade. Okay? These little trades like this work very, very well, and if you actually learn to get back to basics on your trading, you're going to find that it'll make a world of difference in your trading. All right, let's see if we can pick the next trade now that I've taught this for 36 minutes, and then I'm going to go over what some of these indicators mean. Let's see if we can all pick the next trade. Okay, we're still in this one. Got a low, a high, a higher low. So we really don't want to take out our primary swing. I'm not worried about this until it does, by the way, because lightning is the way to make money. Your swings are super, super important. Okay, if they started heading up like with a high, a low, and a higher high, I'm not worried until they take out the primary swing. This primary swing is at 64.59. Okay, notice how that's dropping quite nicely. Okay, you can even move your targets out of the way. You can get rid of one if you want to. You know, just click a buy if you want to. Okay, but let's see if we can pick the next trade. Matter of fact, it just actually hit it. I was getting ready to draw the line, but I've got it going 30 times, 50 times. Everybody see it right there? Got one here and one here, and that's the one it kissed right there. Let's see if we can pick another one. It'll give us a chance. I like a priori swings. Your a priori swings are the ones with the numbers on them, and they're counting all those bars. See this a priori swing that just added that number right there? Okay, so let's see if you weren't even in a trade, if we could possibly, it may not go that high, but let's see if it does. I'm going to say if this breaks down, and it is, okay, isn't this a trade right across here? But it's got to break down further. That's a little bit more of a breakout trade right now. Let's see if we can get it. Not far enough yet. It's not a thrust. See if it'll go ahead and thrust and then test it. That may just be all it does right there. Yeah, if you weren't in anything at all, I would probably be doing this right here. Turning on bar close, because it did kiss. Little swing right there. And now it'll probably kiss this one instead. Let's see if we can get a trade. Region, sorry about that. Gotta go bar close. There we go. Yeah, I got region instead of bar close. The one thing about this little tool here, it's got all these drop downs right here, so you can accidentally get on the wrong one. You always got to watch what you're doing. There we go, we got it. Let's get one out of the way. We'll look to the left to trade the right, see where it could be heading. I'd figure it'd at least be heading there. See that swing? Look to the left to trade the right. There's another swing. But since I've only got 2 contracts, I'm going to have to actually ride the last one as my runner. See if it works. Okay, now that we've done this, what I want everybody to see if they can do is if they can pick the absolute next trade. Because I bet you can now that you've seen this a few times. This getting back to basics will make a world of difference in your trading, because I already see the trade, and I know our Viper traders do too. Anybody? How about right there? Not a breakout though. Okay, wait and see if it'll come back and kiss it. Now it'll finally get to the point where it won't, because you'll run out of your downtrend, right? But let's just see if it'll. I'm going to go like 500 times and see if it'll pop down through. Pop down through, right? Pop down through. And that's 22. Let's see if it'll come back and kiss it. Not enough of a thrust just yet. Let's see if we can get a little bit further. And then let's see if it'll actually kiss 22. Does this make a big difference in your trading? I can tell you it will. And that's why we use 4-range bars. Bing was in the room this morning, a guy that's actually, taking our room this week. We sent out a big invite and was wondering why we use 4-range bars, but basically it's the lightning. I mean, if you look at your charts are always in what's called lightning mode. Let me just show you here real quick. This is lightning right here. Okay. You've got trend 1. This is actually your lightning 1 trend. This is lightning 3, and this is lightning 2. And until it gives up the ghost on one of these trends, you don't have to get out of the trade. This could go all the way up in here, because as long as you're getting higher lows along in there, then obviously it's an uptrend, right? So you want to really learn to keep your stops accordingly. For instance, on this one, I'd put my stop here or here. Okay, on this little chart. On this one, I'd put it here, because you got a high, you got a low, you got a higher high. So could they take that out if they're going to head up? And the answer is no. Because if they're going to head up, what is the definition of an uptrend? It's higher highs and higher lows, right? So if this was to do something like this, we'll go ahead and use a line here. I'm not real good at being able to draw a straight line, but what if it did this and then did this? Would you have wanted to get out of the trade yet? Just a little retrace like that? No. What if it did this on this chart and came down on top of that little swing there and then popped up? Okay? That's what they do continually, and until they take these areas out, this is your secondary swing, that's your primary swing. Okay? We teach this all the time, and this is a very, very good way to trade the markets. Okay? So let's get rid of this. Let's see, is it kissing it? Is it kissing 23, 22 area? Well, there's 22 right there. It didn't quite kiss it. What do you think? Bar closed down, you want to add? There you go, you kissed it. I'm just going to sell it. See if we can make kiss. Oh, that's 22. Let's see. That's what I was wanting, was 22. Drew my line in the wrong spot. See, my 22 hadn't been kissed yet. This has right here. Notice this swing right here has been kissed. See the swing? This one has not been kissed. That's that swing. So we're still okay. We just kissed 22. That's what I wanted, was 22, not 32. Can't hardly see my charts. That's a little. You can, by the way, you can change the size of those that text if you want to also. Now, how many of you, just curious, just a show of hands, how many of you are pretty much profitable almost every day when you trade? Because with our system right here, I think you can be. You're going to find out that it'll make a world of difference in your trading. Okay, let me go over some of the indicators, because we're almost running out of time. I'm just going to close this. We don't care. You can see you can do pretty good. And by the way, I'm basically showing something that we called. Okay, this is replay, so somebody could leave this webinar and go, yeah, right. You know what it did because it's already done it. But does anybody remember this trade was called in the room this morning on the little box? This trade was called right here on the little rollover. And that was not replay. That was in real-time markets. Also, we had gold this morning. I'll show you some gold. And I'll show you where I actually called a trade on gold. Anybody remember it? I called this trade on gold right here. This is called a phantom trade. See how it's right at support right there? And I called this trade right across this area right here. Anybody remember what it did? Put a couple of contracts on that little dude and see what it did. I'll just fast forward it for you and show you what it did. That's 500 times, so that's fast as I can go. We'll just let it do its thing. 500 times is as fast as you can get market replay to go. You can tell it was pretty slow. Okay, let's go over. We'll leave this alone, and then I'll pull this chart back up, and I'm going to show you how you can literally make all kinds of coin with this system. Okay, but let's go over some of the indicators because I promised we would. All right, I'm going to get rid of all lines and everything on my chart. All right. Now you're going to mostly notice when you have a red background, you're basically looking to short the market. Okay, but you're waiting for the thrust and the retrace. Or in the case of open of a market, that's not a bad trade either. But usually you want this retrace. We called this trade right here on oil. This trade right here on oil alone took it way down. If you got in up here at 50-ish, where I called it, where we boxed that in, that's all the way down to 15. That's 35 ticks. And that's basically, you know, 2 contracts is $700. Okay. So definitely not a bad way to trade that. Now let me show you how we see all this in real time. All right. First off, this mid band is extremely important to the way we trade. Okay, because you'll notice that prices tend to gravitate back toward mid band and back toward these predictors. Okay, these predictors are looking at several things. They're looking at swings, they're looking at some fib retracements, they're looking at all kinds of things. They're actually looking at even the way the things draw on the chart. Okay, the way the actual little pullbacks and, you know, rollovers, things like that. It's actually drawing these accordingly so that you can get in some really good trades. Predictor trade, never touch these. Predictor trade. Okay. Now on your chart, you basically have this little area right here, from here to here, is in 6 tick little areas of bands, so to speak. These are like bands. All right, I'm going to draw a line like right here, like so, and here like so, and that is 6 ticks. See there, 51 to 57. All right, so wouldn't it go also that this is 6 ticks right here, right? 45 to 51. Then you got this band, and I'm going to draw the lines on these, on each one of them, so that you'll be able to see them. And then I'm going to explain how they work. Can't see that one as easy, but it's got to be 6 ticks, so it's right at 27. All right, and then we're going to go with this line here. And we're going to go with this line here. Ninja is really bad about their tools not grabbing. All right, so you have line 0, line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, 5, 6. Sorry about that, I moved that one accidentally. Go ahead and put it within 6 ticks again. line 7 and line 8. Okay, so when we're in the room and we say we're going to put a stop, let's say, for instance, that you were looking at this trade right here, and Charles and I happen to be in this trade, okay, and we want to put our stop, for instance, at mid-band, or we want to put it at, line 3, to give an example. So you have line 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And when we call those out in the room, that's what we're doing is you're hearing numbers that are based on all this. Okay, for instance, a long, we look at like line 6 and line 5 a lot. Okay, but on a short, we're looking at like line 3 and line 4. Now, notice why we do this, because if you got out of this trade on oil just because it retraced a little bit, that wasn't the best move you ever made, because you know how far oil went down? And you've got to be at that point where you can stay in a trade as long as you possibly can. And you can do this with lightning, okay, and with these indicators. Because what I see on this chart right now, to give an example, is I see a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high. So that's my primary swing on the left. Then I see a high, a low, a lower high, but not a lower low here. So they're not ready to take this bottom out just yet, are they? And that's fine with us, because we're going to ride this trade based on lightning. Now watch it as it actually works, and you're going to see more basically how to stick with this product. See it kissing 21, 22 area? Shouldn't it, for all intents and purposes, roll there? See there? Now that just happened to be on line 2 on the dynamic trend, but notice that it's right at an a priori swing. See how it kissed it? So why would you want to be out of this trade yet? Anybody? Because if you're getting in and out of trades, getting back in, I'll bet your averages, for lack of better words, kind of stink. Because you've got to be pretty accurate on your trades. But what if you got in a trade like way back here on oil where this was called, or here where it was called, and you just rode the silly thing down? Now, we're not even in a trade right now. I'm trying to teach you more how to see the basics on the chart. Look at that. I'm going to slow this down a little bit, because this is actually 500 times. Everybody see that? What kind of a trade would that be if you were in at 51 and you got all the way to 74? That's 80 ticks. Cha-ching is right. Okay? Now, what if you just absolutely missed a trade and you want to see if you can get, let's just pretend we don't have even anything on this. Let's look to the left, to trade the right, and see if we can pick out a trade. Let's see, 16, 34. I'm going to bring this down here so I can see swings. Go all the way back. Let's just see if we can get a 10-tick trade just for the fun of it. You want to see if we can do it? Always look to your little a priori swings, and it'll make a world difference. I'm going to see if I can get a 10-tick trade. I got a predictor right there. Let's just let it touch it, because I think it'll go to 94, because I've got a swing. Always look to the left to trade the right, or it's going to break all the way up and check 09. But we're still not looking for longs, are we? Would you be looking for longs on this chart yet? Okay, we just got in a trade. Let's see if we can get 10 ticks just for the fun of it. I'll leave my stop at, well, since we're going for 10 ticks, I'll put my stop, just so it's a risk reward type deal, at 10 ticks also. And exit on close. And for the fun of it, I'm going to even add 2 if it kisses that line. Will it work? We'll find out. I'm in 4. Now I've got 10 ticks, so that's a $400 back in my face, right? So I might want to protect it a little bit. We'll go ahead and go with mid-band instead, like so. Let's see if it works. All we care about is 10 ticks. Giving us a little bit of grief. Let's see if it takes me out, it takes me out. We'll find out. Now, does that trade make you nervous at all? It should actually if you've got 4 contracts on, unless that bar closes down. Because it kissed right where I thought it would. Let's see if it'll go ahead and work without taking me out. Now remember, mid-band is like a gravitational pull. It's trying to get up to mid-band is what it's doing. Let's see if my trade works. If it doesn't, I'm going to give up $400. Now, never think just because they're trying to roll over that they're ready to roll over just yet, because they not necessarily are. We're missing, let's see, we're about 3 ticks out. Let's see if it works. See if it works. Wow, that's slow. I'm going to speed it up. How many of you got something out of Back to Basics tonight? Can you see these trades on the chart? Now, if this actually decides to go the other direction, we're going to find out here in a couple of minutes, but let's see if mid-band holds just for the fun of it. Back to 18. Is it going to work? I hope so. Have you ever thought, I hope so? That's the way trading is, unfortunately. But if you diagnose your charts, you just got to trust it. It looks like we're going to be okay. If that bar closes down, that is. All we want is 10 ticks, though. Let's just change this to 10, 10, and let's see, we got 8 on that one, so I'm going to go 10. 10, 10, and 11, that's good enough. I'd probably protect my trade right across here now. Give them 6 ticks. I think we're going to be okay, but this looks like it's getting a little bit more bottomy because we've got that going 50 times and it's not moving that quickly. Is it going to? There we go. Got it. Okay. What do y'all think about mid-bands, predictors, drawing on your chart, getting these monster moves? When did this change trends, by the way? Just real quick. You know, when you get these double tops like this, you know, where they barely take out a top, you got to kind of watch what's going on. You have a high, you have a low, you have a higher high, but unfortunately it didn't take out the top here. So we start looking for possible trend changes when that happens. But you've also got to be careful that you don't just get sucked into one that actually just goes in your face either. So like I showed earlier, I draw on my charts. I see where the trade should go, and I'm looking for 2 different directions for it to go. Okay? Let's see if we can get, you want to try for a 5 tick just for the fun of it? I'll try for a 5 tick. Let's see, where has it not been? It's not been right there at 92. See if we can get it. I'll speed it up. Hopefully I can get it. See, we're looking at the left. We've got little swings across here. It hadn't checked 92 yet. Everybody see that? I'm going to just try to get 5 ticks only. Not quite. Now that's a little bit risky trade, because if this changes trends on me, I don't want it to go all the way above the swing right here, right? And if it does, before I get 5 ticks, then this trade won't work out. And we'll find out. This may be my only loss trade because I didn't see that higher low right there. You want to give it a little bit? Well, no, we'll just take our bite if it does. Let's see if we can get it. Exit on close. This one's going to get us. You're getting an A, a B, and a A, B, C. So they're more than likely going to get it. Now, if we've only got 2 on here, I'll show you another way to protect yourself. They don't take out these, what we call the ellipses right here, if they're going to continue heading down. Okay, but that could still be giving up some coin on it though, because see, we're down about 5 ticks on this. You want to trust it and see if it works? But that's actually giving up 14 to get 5. That's not a good way to trade, but let's see if it works just for the fun of it. Just on the predictor itself. Not yet, it didn't, is it? Now, by the way, never trade something with a 14 tick stop for a 5 tick target. But what I'm trying to show you here is that little swing should hold. Let's see if it gets us 5 ticks. And we're almost out of time. Let's just speed it up a little bit more. That was what I call a little bit more of a risky trade. But I'm going to trust this predictor for the fun of it and just see if it's going to head down a little bit more. I'll speed it up 500 times. Let's see if we can get 5 ticks. And if it doesn't, it's not going to kill us. We'll be down 280 from our 2230. That's still 2,000. Don't you hate it when it starts going sideways because you think, is this thing going to give me this trade at all? Now I'm going to tighten it for sure. Just in case. I'm willing to give them 140 bucks for that 5 ticks, but no more than that. Back to basics. A mid-band trade. Did it roll over? Well, the thing that's making me nervous on this is that you've got a low, a high, a higher low, and a tad higher high. So I'd be careful on this now until it takes out the swing. So what do we go back to, everyone? Well, we go back to it's going to do one of 2 things, right? It's going to either break, just like I showed on that other chart. Okay? Let's see if we can get something. I'm going to just go ahead and go for the low since we're in it. Let's see if we can get it. Got a 7 tick stop on it with close of the bar. Yeah, I'd put it right at mid-band, actually. Just put it right there. Right at mid-band. Let's see if it works. This is even 500 times, and this is slow. Oil, one thing about oil, you have plenty of time to diagnose it. And could we do, let's see, we got 2 on. I'm going to do one other thing. Then we're going to wrap pretty soon. I'm going to do a region. I'm going to do a short outside. Touch +2. That's if we don't get taken out. Are we going to get taken out? Maybe. This is when you're literally watching paint dry, because this is 500 times normal speed. Nervous yet? Yep, got us. All right, let's box it in again. See how you can move this in real time? This is a pretty cool little feature, by the way. that you can actually move in real time. Let's see if we can get one more trade and then I'll wrap this thing up. We lost on that one, a couple of $100, no big deal. We're boxing it in. We're not going long though. What will we do, everyone, if you go long? We're looking for, let me get that region back on there. We're looking for what? Well, we're going to either break our little box, get us in a trade, or what we're looking for is this trade. We want to break this area right here by a good substantial amount, come back and find support, and then take off. Or we want it to do this. Break our little box. Actually, probably just down in this area right here. Now we got our trade. And we're looking for this right here. And by the way, with this little region box, you can actually turn on a trade again if you want to. Let me show you how to do that. If you want to do it, you just see how I just got in 4 because I turned that back on because it was within 2 ticks of that box. Okay, but we should have actually not just put them all on one deal. We turned our targets off on Object Trader. Anyway, there you go. You got you another trade. We need to move that target. We need to move that target, don't we? What does everybody think? You want to try this tomorrow with the scripts that you've got? If anybody doesn't have the trial, you can go on our website and get our trial. And you can get some really, really nice trades on this software. I'm going to put my stop right there. Everybody sees why, right? Swing. If it gets me, it gets me. Ooh, it come close. I'm going to put it right at mid-band. The reason I'm doing that, because see how it just barely takes that out? A lot of times they'll do that to you, and then they'll roll over and give you a great trade. And if it takes you out, it takes you out. But what do we do, everyone? Well, we get another trade, don't we? Because the whole idea of trading is to get some decent trades. There's 28.90, by the way, and that's not too shabby. It looks like it's breaking down again to me. What do you think? Anybody? Anybody? If it breaks this little swing? Ah, we missed it. Didn't get it moved in time. See where the little swing was? Well, there's back to basics for you. Got you some nice trades on this little jewel like this. And what do we do as long as this is actually heading down like it is? Well, we ride it, don't we? We ride the trade because that's what we do. See if we get back into cost on this. I'll put my stop just above the little predictor. Only got 1 left on. If I was only in 1, I'd probably just go ahead and take some coin. If it actually even breaks down, like right here to give an example. If you've only got 1, see that bottom right there? Now if it shoots through it, since I've only got 1, I'm just trying to protect it if it bounces at support. Okay, there you go. All right, let's trade this way tomorrow. I hope this made sense tonight, because with our indicators and everything, with the dynamic trend, you know, those bands and everything that we teach, with Object Trader being able to get in these trades at some sweet areas, that we just missed one. See that trade right there? You can actually get some really, really, really nice trades. And I highly recommend actually using our tools because it'll make a difference in your trading. And always diagnose your charts. You've got to know where that next trade is. Okay? You want to see if we can get one more? I'll take that one. It rolled. Will it work? We'll find out. Didn't quite come up to my predictor. I wanted it at predictor. But it looks like it's working anyway, so who cares, right? Go ahead and bank my coin, or there you go. Just got you some more trades. Always look to where they've been, because they're going back and they're going to check it. And you can count on it. Now, if this thing was to decide to go up instead of down, it's going to have to break one of those lightning swings first. And I don't know if anybody remembers or not, but I do believe oil even hit right around 60, high 62s, if I remember right. Look at that thing drop. Now, could you have stayed in this trade? Absolutely, because you have high, low, lower high, lower low. You know, here's your little swing right across here. That's where you put your stop if you want a tight stop. If you saw your swing to the left, your a priori, you can put it a little bit above it, because it shouldn't take it out when it goes up there and kisses. And that's the way to trade that. Okay? Hope everybody enjoyed it. With Object Trader and all the tools that we've got, I think we've given you lots and lots of ways to see the trades on the chart, and also to make some very, very good trading decisions. Okay. Next Monday, I'll teach a little bit more on some of the little bit more aggressive trading. I did a few of those anyway, you know, because being a little bit more of an aggressive trader, you can actually get some really fast trades to begin with. And with a couple of contracts, it's $100 here, $200 here, you know, and it adds up big time. Okay, everyone, thanks for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the room in the morning. And we're going to draw on our charts just like we always do, and we should be able to get into some pretty nice trades. Okay, thanks everybody for coming. See, did I miss any questions? I think I got it. This will be uploaded just in the next little bit, Dennis. I usually get right on this as soon as the room closes here. I'll get on uploading the webinar so you can see it. Okay, I'll bet you it comes up here. See how it's trying to take out mid-band? I'm going to draw two lines just for anybody that's left in the webinar. See if we can get one of those. And you got to look to the left to trade the right too. Remember what I said about secondary? So you have a primary swing here. Technically on the right you got a primary here, but this is your primary, this is your secondary right here. So I'd be looking for a trade, not taking that out. See if I can get it. See it right there? Now, was that a little risky? That's an aggressive trade. See how I drew on my charts though? You got to know where they're going. Oh wow, look at that. Just go ahead and get your targets out of the way and let her ride. Now keep in mind, when they do deep retracements like this, if you only got one contract left, I'd probably put it just around the bottom, because that's usually, they'll double bottom, they'll pop up, they'll hit a resistance area, and they'll roll over again. Okay, everyone, thanks for coming. I ran that a little bit longer, but I appreciate everybody's patience. Predictor is over. When you say touch, we were talking about price touching anywhere. Now, actually, Paul, on your question, the predictor just has to touch basically what the predictor is, and we chose to leave it as a little ellipse, but it's actually a region. The algorithms that see this see it like that. It just looks at the bottom of the region and the top of the region, and you can get some decent trades. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and put our stop a little tighter, because that's actually a higher low. Okay, everybody, we'll see you in the morning. Thanks.